Be a soldier for Yahawashi. Shalom. First and foremost, giving all praises, honor, glory, respect, and blessings to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahawashi, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Salutations to the Lord's elect on the four corners of the earth, pushing his truth and sincerity while patiently waiting for Yahawashi's return. And double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, which have taught us everything we know through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahawashi. This is the book of 2 Timothy 4 verse 2. Preach the word. Be instant in season, out of season. Now, one thing about a soldier, which really, when you go into the word soldier means hardened. Okay? The word soldier means hardened. So if you're hardened, that makes you what? Tough. It makes you strict. It makes you disciplined. Now, soldiers operate under any kind of weather condition. It could be scorching hot outside, which also goes to show you that, when the Lord had us going through the wilderness, it was scorching hot out there. Remember, they was just coming out of Egypt, right? So indeed, they was walking amongst, deserts. They was walking amongst sand, they was walking amongst sand. But even in this generation, we are dealing with what? The winter time. It be freezing outside to where you can see water freezing up. You see icicles, even if it's spring or perfectly warm outside. Soldiers operate under any weather condition. That means that when we go out to the highways and hedges to teach, we go out there and we teach. Rather if it be cold outside, rather if it's freezing outside. You see? Rather if it's freezing outside, rather if it's scorching hot out there to where the sun is beaming on your head and the heat from the sun is literally, stinging your skin. Soldiers operate under any weather condition. So while you're at it, reprove, rebuke, exhort, encourage with all long suffering and doctrine. Long suffering. Soldiers learn to suffer. And a matter of fact, back when only men was allowed in the U.S. military, right? Back then, when they used to train their soldiers, you know what they would do? They used to put their soldiers through certain scenarios which were life-threatening. Like, for an example, they would literally take their soldiers and they would put their soldiers, they would literally drown their soldiers. Literally. They would put their soldiers underwater to the point to where they would drown. And then what? They'll take their soldiers out of the water, they'll perform CPR, In some case scenarios, they will have the soldiers, climbing ladders over spike pits, They will have the soldiers facing off against, vicious dogs or whatnot in the military. So back when only men was allowed in the U.S. military, which was what, around the early 90s, even around the mid 1800s. Okay, The United States used to put their soldiers through harsh training, very harsh training, life and death, life and death situations. Well, guess what? When we go out on those highways and hedges, we are putting ourselves in life or death situations. What did Yahawashi say? No greater love have a man than these, that he lay down his life for his brethren. You know, so when you go out there on the highways and hedges, you put yourself on YouTube teaching, you put yourself in what? Life or death situations. But you're not just doing it for yourself. You're doing it because you're risking your life to wake up the Lord's elect. All long suffering also comes with the demons that might, attempt to attack you in this truth. You know, demons, you know, demons might come at you from all angles. Satan might hop on your woman. She might start being a demon. Satan might hop on your children. They might start being demons. Satan might hop on your boss at work. Satan might hop on your vehicle. Your vehicle might shut down right when you're in the middle of going to work. While you're in the rush to go to work, here it is, you cannot afford to be late, but then your vehicle shut down on you. Now you got to call your boss and kindly explain to him why you're going to be late. So as being a soldier of Yahawashi, we learn to deal with everything. So with all long suffering and doctrine, because even when you teach the 100% truth, you're going to be persecuted. Guys are going to call you rapists. They're going to call you pedophiles. They're going to call you racist. They're going to call you extremists. They're going to they certain guys, such as the so-called white man, they're going to categorize you as black Hebrew Israelites, in which there's no such thing as no black or white Hebrew Israelite. Okay? The Holy Scriptures speak nothing of black or white Hebrew Israelites. The Holy Scriptures speak of the Hebrew Israelites, which are the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native Indians. The so-called Negro, Latino, and Native Indian tribes. Okay, this is the book of Acts, chapter 14. Bear with me for one moment. Verse 22. I'll let the screen lead me there. Confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them, encouraging them to continue in the faith. That's right, we are soldiers of faith. Now, some years back, IUIC slandered us, calling us a faith-based Israelites. Ooh, they are faith-based Israelites. You damn right we're faith-based Israelites. It takes faith to believe that there is a higher power. It takes faith to believe that Yahawashi came 2,000 years ago and died for the sins of the nation of Israel. It takes faith to believe that Yahawashi is going to return in this generation and bring judgment on the heathen and deliver his elect men and put the so-called white men in slavery and liberate us from our captivity. All that takes faith. It takes faith to believe that in these last days, we're going to have spiritual power. We're going to be, we're not, and let me correct myself. I'm not saying I'm of the elect. I speak of the Lord's elect, whosoever they may be out there. I speak of them. Okay? And that we must and again, we is talking about the elect. Okay? The elect is going to be flying through the air and shooting lightning out of their hands and destroying their enemies, destroying armies and militaries of these different nations. The elect is going to be doing that. And it takes faith to believe that. And again, I'm not saying I'm of the elect. I speak of the Lord's elect, whosoever they may be out there. And that we must, through much tribulation, enter into the kingdom of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi, okay, through much tribulation. Another word for tribulation is trouble. And both words start with the letter T and with the letter R, okay? Trouble and tribulation. We're going to go through much trouble and tribulations in this truth. And again, I gave you some examples earlier of troubles and tribulation. Your car might break down, you know, you might be teaching at camp and then you got demons who come up, you know, some demons might try to get carnal with you. There might be some people at your job, they might be talking shit about you behind your back. You see that guy with that beard on his face? He's a weirdo. He's a he's a weirdo. You know why? He's got on a he I saw him out there like I think it was on May I think I think it was on May 25th. I saw this man with the beard, right? That guy over there, he had on a dress and he had a Bible in his hand talking about how Babylon is America's and America's gonna be destroyed. Yeah, that guy's a weirdo. So, you're gonna go through much tribulation in this truth, in which we don't wear dresses. They are called Hebrew Israelite garments. That's how we used to dress back in the ancient world. Okay? Look at Superman. You see the cape on his back? Did you know that a cape is actually half of a Hebrew Israelite garment? Most people don't know that. They look at Superman, they see how he got this cape on his back. Well, a cape is no more than half of a Hebrew Israelite garment. Okay? If you was to cut off the front part of a Hebrew Israelite garment, you'll be left with half of it, which will be what? Hanging from off your back. So a cape is literally half of a Hebrew Israelite garment, and a lot of people don't even know that. So, you're going to go through tribulations in this truth, okay? And of course, the last scripture, but not least, 2 Timothy chapter 3. Is it verse 2? I believe it is. Just bear with me for one moment. I'll be able to see right here. No. No, Salak. I believe it's, excuse me, 1 Timothy chapter 3. Let's try 1 Timothy 3 verse 2. No. Excuse me. Let's see what comes up here. Okay, here we go. I had it all mixed up. This is the book of 2 Timothy. The book of This is the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 2, verse 3. Thou therefore endure. Endure. The word endure, when you look it up, means to make hard. Like a rock. Now, I remember some years back when I used to listen to Apostle Gabar's teaching, he made a statement in the truth, and that statement still stays with me to this day. He said that when you look up the word endure, it means to make hard. Now, when I heard that definition, I was like, ooh, that's heavy. Because when you look at a stone is what? A stone is hard, you know. Now he also mentioned something about being stone skinned. Now I know exactly what he meant by stone skinned. In other words, you don't let what people say get to you, You know, in other words, don't be emotional because soldiers don't deal with emotions. And a matter of fact, back in the ancient world, when When we used to go to war, we didn't have time to think about our family. We didn't have time to think about our sons, our daughters, our wives, our parents, you know. We had to focus on what was in front of us, being tunnel minded, you know. We didn't have time to think about those things. So we didn't have time to deal with emotions, you know. I mean, don't get me wrong, grown as men do cry. Even to this very day, I cry, you know. On the day of the Passover, I cried. I cried, sending up prayers, asking the Lord to make me a better person. So, grown men do cry, you know. However, we don't deal with emotions in its truth, okay? And there's gonna come a time, a point to where you ain't gonna have time to think about your family. You're gonna have to focus on the Lord. And that's what it means to be a soldier of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi, to make hard, you know. And being stone skinned, it all starts in your mind. It starts in your mind. When people say certain things to you, you don't let it get to you, you know? And I can attest to that. I remember at one point at my job, you know, yes, because I used to work at the casino. I used to work at the casino, right? And I used to work with this bitch was toxic, man. And she was literally a manager. But man, I had to deal with her for months. For months I had to deal with this woman. And she used to get on my nerves, man. I mean, she used to do the littlest things to piss me off. But you know what? I just learned to cope with it. I mean, eventually, cause I'm not perfect, right? Eventually, I did lose my temper. I mean, literally, this woman, she's literally one of those people that you would, if there was no rights for women, she was one of those ladies you would punch right in the fucking mouth. I kid you not. But you know what? I just learned to cope with her. Eventually, I ended up losing my job over her, because I lost my temper. But I learned to deal with that for months. Actually, for over a year. I've been dealing with her for over a year. This manager, light skin, wearing glasses, claimed to be a Christian, got a weird ass hooligan wig on her head. Yeah, she used to wear wigs. At one point, I heard she got her ass whooped so bad that her wig fell off her head. But that's a story for another time. But you get the point. When it comes to being a soldier for Yahawashi, you got to learn to endure. Make hard. Okay? When it comes to enduring, you got to learn to be hard. For the word endure means what? To make hard. Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahawashi. Okay? Now, there's one more scripture I would like to get before I close it out. King James Bible Online.org. King James Bible Online.org. What the hell? Okay. Of course. Go figures. Of course that happens. Okay, so this is the King James Bible Online.org. Okay, this is the book of Sirach, chapter 2, and verse 1. So, check this out. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Because temptation is going to come from all directions. When you come into this truth, demons and Satan is going to tempt you with pursuing your dreams or going back into the world and such. Okay? But you must learn to fight those temptations as a soldier for Yahawashi, temptation is going to come from all directions. Whatever you're weak to, you're going to be tempted to do it, and you must fight against that. With that, I'm going to say, Shalom, is on to the next one.